Hello and welcome to the IGN UK Podcast. I am Alex, and this week I'm joined by Del Driver.
Hello.
Daniel Krupa.
Hello.
And me, Alex Simmons. That was my full name. I'm not just Alex. Well, maybe I'm just...
No middle name?
I'm Alex. No, I don't have a middle name.
I feel like we've done this bit before, talking about middle names.
My full name is Clive.
No.
That
would be my middle name.
Alexander the Great.
You're saying for somebody from history.
I'm excited. I haven't been
Alexander the Great.
I haven't been on the podcast for ages.
You're just going to be free
I'm
associating for the next 90 minutes.
Doesn't work for
Strap
me.
yourself in.
I just say Dale Winton. That's about all I got. So, yeah.
Got Dale Winton inside you. Ready to break out.
I hope I haven't.
Good.
As far as I'm aware, I don't.
Are you harnessing your inner Winton?
I can if needs be. I don't know where this is going.
Bring on the wall. I don't know what else he did.
Supermarket Sweep.
Supermarket Sweep.
on the wall.
Pets win prizes.
Yeah.
Well, the trinity of British game shows.
That's it. You've covered it all.
Well, he did the lottery. This is very interesting for our international listeners.
Sure it is.
You think?
Yeah, they like James Corden and Piers Morgan.
They missed the boat on
Our biggest exports.
Yeah.
Anyway,
literally
1 week away from E3, we're going to be running through all the stuff that we kind of know is going to be there, some of the stuff that we hope is going to be there, and for anyone going, I'm going to give you some red hot tips, whether it's your first E3 or, if you're like me, it's your, I think it's my 16th E3.
Right, showing off.
Or maybe it's 17th. I don't know.
You're a veteran, aren't you?
Yeah, I wasn't at the first one. I was at the second one. It started 21 years ago.
And you've not missed any since? The second one.
Well, I said I've been at 16.
Wait a second. Let me just do some maths. All right.
So
Which ones did you miss?
I wasn't there last year because it was the just after the birth of my son.
It's not a good
So
excuse.
Rory was 3.
Then I wasn't at the one in, I don't know, 2010 because it was the birth of my daughter.
I'm sensing a theme.
I don't have 5 children, by the way. And then...
that Charlotte knows of.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all in California at E3.
They're E3 babies.
E3 babies.
The yearly annual
obvious.
visit. Yeah, the first one's just coming up to be about 20 years old. And then I was freelance for a while and I couldn't get anybody to take me. So I definitely wasn't going to pay
For
to
you.
Set them in your pants.
Exactly.
The sweet freelancing years.
Yeah. So I just sat at home and watched it. And, yeah, probably from my pants. From my pants or in
From my
my
pants. Optimal E3. Is that a red hot tip? Is that your first one? Watch it from your pants.
No, I'm going to save those for later. Or, do you want a red hot tip now?
Go for it.
I've got a red hot tip in my pants.
I was feeling
This
that gag.
is
but I was
terrible.
bored.
Let's just start properly.
Right, okay. So, look, we're going to go through the press conferences in order.
Yeah.
And I think like last year, there are now press conferences on the Sunday. It always used to be the Monday leading into the show on the Tuesday. Now we're starting on the Sunday. So we've literally got time to land. No time to readjust to California zone, and then we are off. And EA starts at what time, Daniel?
Oh, Christ. EA starts on, well, if you're in Britain, it starts at 9 p.m.
So that's
British
1 a.m. 1 p.m. local time. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And so, well, actually, I'm looking through the list of games that I think are going to be there. It sounds a little bit like a score draw thing from Saturday afternoon, because it's Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2.
This is a high caliber podcast, isn't it?
It's a high score draw for the next one.
FIFA
17, Madden 17. And then doesn't really work.
And then so on. Do the rest yourself.
Mass
Join in at home.
Effect
Okay.
Andromeda, Criterion Racing game. Anyway, so let's talk about those specifically. So Battlefield 1 is definitely going to be there. Mm-hmm. It's going to be playable, I'm pretty sure. So we should specify, Dale, unfortunately, you're not going to E3.
Can I just point out that you've not written Battlefield, you've written Battyfield.
All right.
Anyway, no, but it's good. It's a bit of a different slant on the shoot.
Okay, I'm going to say
Yes. So I'm not going E3.
No, but we are.
Holding down the fort.
So if you want to ask us any questions about what it's like to be out there, then go for it.
Well, I'll ask you when you get back.
Okay.
Because I feel like that would make more sense.
Are you excited about Battlefield 1?
I am, as of 10 minutes ago. I hadn't watched the trailer until 10 minutes ago. Battlefield and Call of Duty, they've just never really done it for me. I think the last one I played was 1943, I think.
That's ages ago.
Years ago.
Yeah.
A lot's
I'm an
changed
old
since
man
then.
driver.
During the Blitz.
No, yeah, so I haven't played a Battlefield game since then, and it just doesn't really interest me, but I watched the trailer because we were coming in here and I saw it on the list. I thought I'll watch it. And there was something about it. It's really hooked me in. I think the music was great as well. That really helped. But
it looks
I'm interested.
really atmospheric.
It's a cool
I think. And it's good that they've gone first. Like, where the new Call of Duty is going even further into the future and even more advanced. I think it's cool that the ones that booked the trend, and with this console generation, the first to go back and do all that setting with new technology. Like
Definitely.
the bit in the trailer with the mustard gas attack.
Yeah.
Looks really scary.
Like
in a
the
way
fact-
that I don't think anything Call of Duty doesn't make me feel scared, and that looks horrible and claustrophobic when you put on the gas mask.
But I think that's the other thing as well, is that because of the setting, like, I guess you feel a lot more fragile as an individual because you're, I don't know, at times just riding across the battlefield on a horse.
Yeah.
As opposed to in a mech suit or something like that, and it's just like...
It's really brutal as well. Some of that, those melee weapons where it's like that club with spikes on it. If you've got a gas mask on, you've got a very limited peripheral vision, and that guy's just running towards you.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that as well. So I knew what it was about. I'd heard it was in World War One, but that's all I knew. And I didn't think. I thought I was just picturing trenches and the long rifles and things like that. But it looked really cool, and the horseback stuff looked.
It's
really interesting.
like a slightly alternate take on World War One, isn't it? But still, according to DICE, it's authentic. But I'm interested. I'm assuming what we'll see is a glimpse at single player, but they'll show off multiplayer. I think multiplayer will be playable, but we won't really get to play single player. But that, for me, as I keep on saying, I'm all about single player stuff.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that. Yeah. But it's interesting. What about Titanfall?
Yeah, so they're going to add in a game.
What?
They're going to add in a single player game, a story, which the first game didn't have. It wasn't a thing.
Not campaign multiplayer.
Yeah, it never really happened, did it? They said there would be an organic story that would unfold across.
It was just a bunch of missions that were tacked together, and it didn't work.
Do your own story. All right. So there's going to be that, but also swords. Robot swords. What do you think of that?
And mechs. I'm in when you said single player.
But not when I said swords. I'm out.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Titanfall, but for a very short period.
Yes.
We were all like really up on it.
Yeah. But then
Do we take the
you
hype
realise
pills?
there wasn't much to it.
It was fun.
And it was fun, but
It died off so quickly, didn't it?
But is that because
there was no?
But is that
real
because
community.
also it was like single platform? I know it was on PC as well, but it wasn't every. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and it wasn't necessarily everyone's platform of choice as well at the start either. So
and it was early on as well in the console cycle.
But this one obviously is on PS4 as well now, so I think it's got a lot more of a chance, especially with a single campaign, which can get people like me and Alex interested as well. I think it's got a lot going for it so far.
I do think like that game in particular lent itself to like single player. Like I would have loved to have kind of explored that world more and found out more about it that you just didn't get from the multiplayer side of things.
There was loads of fun stuff in it. Like we played it. I think we played it a lot before it even came out. Like we really got
beta.
we played the beta lots. We played events lots. Like we had. Because I don't play loads of multiplayer. The game that's really changing that at the minute is Overwatch. I'm playing that all the time. Yeah. But usually with multiplayer games, I play it for a bit and I'm done. I almost feel like I did that all really early on and then I was burnt out on it.
But I think the other thing is, there were a fairly limited number of mechs and pilots and the combinations thereof. And going back to Overwatch, there are so many combinations of how your teams work together and everything that generally makes a difference.
I'm still finding new little skills in Overwatch, like little abilities and how you can use your abilities in interesting ways. Like I know we're talking about Titanfall, but this is really good. As Hanzo is a character we've been playing lots recently, he has a sonar arrow, and you can actually just fire that at a person, and they'll run around the map, and they will act as a sonar beacon around the map.
Did not know that.
Loads of cool stuff like that.
Awesome.
Anyway,
Titanfall. So I am excited for it. I hope that they deliver on the promise that was kind of made for the original one, I guess. Because I do like the setting. I think Respawn are capable of making really good games. I just felt like the first one, while good, was perhaps a little bit limited.
It's got everything going for it this time, so fingers crossed. Yeah. Should be a good game.
What about Madden? Let's not talk about Madden.
No, I think we should talk about sports. So,
which awkward sports personality are they going to bring up on stage this year?
I hope it's just Pele again. That was the worst thing ever. Just nobody we watched it in the war room with all our American colleagues, who obviously gave it even less kind of reverence than us. It's like, it's Pele. Everyone's like, who's this boring old man? It's like, hey, come on now.
It did come on for ages, though.
Well, they did, but they might know.
Or Pele,
actually, I think a lot of people didn't know who he was.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
That's mental.
Or they didn't care.
But it did feel very self-indulgent, that whole thing.
But that's not what people hear. And I know, like, for people involved, it's like, oh, it's cool, you've got Pele, and I'm sure you've paid him quite a lot of money to turn up to do this. But it's just kind of a weird, like, moment in the flow of that conference, like, for it to plateau like that. But they've announced this week that FIFA 17 says big changes are coming.
Don't they say that every year?
They do say that
players,
every year.
12 outfield players.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they bumped
that
it
is
up.
a big change.
Yeah, and multi-ball.
Multi-ball, mate.
Inspiration from Rocket League.
The thing that I'm saying for years, there should be a mode where the ball is a bomb.
Rocket League should have that mode.
I don't think you can do that in FIFA.
Why not?
Because
you can't have Jamie Vardy with no legs. He held onto the ball for too long.
It's based in a world where they kind of take it a little bit seriously. I think the bomb mode would probably take.
I can't imagine FIFA signing off the license if that happened.
Anyway, so they said big changes are coming, and what they mean by that, and the trailer this week confirmed it, is they're moving over to the Frostbite engine, which is obviously the fancy graphics engine that powers a lot of their other games. Like Dragon Age, I think, used Frostbite. Battlefront uses it as well. So it's like the state-of-the-art technology, and that's what's going to be the basis of FIFA, which is quite good. Like, that is a big change, moving over to a new engine.
Visual fidelity-wise, and I suppose animations and things like that, but the actual core mechanics of the game are still going to be FIFA.
But like, if you look at, like, well, I guess this was the Fox engine with what is what PES runs on.
Yeah.
And that offered more than just visual fidelity.
I never played the latest PES, so how was that different from the one before?
Well, it just played nicely. Is the honestly
good analysis.
But it just meant that the physicality of the players was better. You know, it was more than just.
I think there'll be more. Yeah, there'll be other benefits. Obviously the most immediate thing from what we'll see at E3, which will be you're watching trailers and gameplay. So the most immediate things will be the graphical fidelity and lighting, I imagine, and stadiums and things like that. But
it's not one of those things. I don't look at FIFA and go, oh my God, I cannot put my eyes on that any longer. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I just want a good game to play. Like, I don't really care about like visual stuff. I want them to make sure the keepers play well, and you know.
But I think it's a big component for FIFA, though, especially because it has all the licenses. Anything it can do to feel more, because the people who buy FIFA want it to feel like a continuation of what they watch on Sunday afternoon, and
but
FIFA does that really well with all the production values.
It does it really well already.
Yeah.
My point was that I don't really feel like it was something that was
maybe
needed.
it's just a preemptive thing, like everything EA is doing switching over to this engine. You just need to do it, like, get on board basically, because that's where they're pouring all their resources.
So if they like brought over like some of the other characters that run on it, so dragons, stormtroopers, like some of the Battlefield 1 characters, like big trenches that you have to kind of kick the ball over.
I think other way around. Battlefield 1, there's a level.
Oh yeah,
where they play
football
between the trenches.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
That's why it's all on. That's why it's all on Frostbite.
On horses.
That's polo.
Well, no.
That's like for the toffs. No, this is the people in charge, like the sergeants.
The horses kick it, not the people with sticks or hammers or whatever they use.
Sticks.
Well, I don't know what polo people use.
Mallets.
There you go.
Timmy mallets.
No one will get that.
Well,
question for you. Do you use FIFA's normal control method, or do you switch to PES's control method?
I use FIFA.
Classic, alternate.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I would say
alternate, like
to say
14-year-old.
To say that's wrong.
I just think PES controls.
That's all right.
No,
fine, don't judge me. I won't judge you. It's fine.
I'm not judging you. He is.
It's a question.
It's not a witch hunt.
Although one answer is the right answer. So.
Who inverts?
Joe Scrabbles inverts.
Does he? But you don't.
Of course not.
No, that's weird.
That's wrong.
If you invert, get out.
Yeah. Don't listen. Stop listening to the podcast, please.
No, actually don't, because that's probably about 40%. Statistics have shown.
Other stuff that, you would hope that Mass Effect Andromeda is going to be there.
I'm so excited for this.
Are you? Now, so I literally could not give two hoots about Mass Effect.
Have you played any of the Mass Effect?
Not played a single Mass Effect.
That's probably a major reason why.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But even like watching somebody else play it, I'm like...
I loved 2 and 3. I never played 1 because I was on PlayStation, so it was never on 1.
Yeah, I had 1. I got quite bored.
I hear it's not as good.
No, 2 is amazing.
Yeah, 2 is
the one I love. Like 3, I played it all the way, but still nothing compared to 2.
It was just incredible world building and character building, and it had I'm sure it's dated now. I haven't played it in a long time, but for me, as such a huge sci-fi geek, it appeased all those desires.
Like, command your ship and travel places in the universe, and like hopefully this one will even flesh out that dream a little bit more, that fantasy, because like proper travel rather than in Mass Effect you go to like a few planets,
and the planet is usually a corridor.
Explore little bits of them. If they can expand that more, that'd be amazing.
Right. I'm really
also cross it with No Man's Sky.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be that scary. Just like, but what was good about the original? I can't like my memory of these games is a little bit hazy. But the original, you could go down onto the surface of the planet and like drive around and do more kind of open exploration.
Right. Okay.
Which I think they kind of
there was elements
back
of that
in the second and third one.
I don't remember much of it, but I do remember at points driving vehicles around and stuff. And there was always the mining in 2, wasn't it? You could go to every planet, but you could only like mine from.
It's like a little mini game.
Yeah, but it was like strangely addictive as well. But Forza, the new one, Andromeda, is really exciting because, as far as I'm aware, it's not tying into the previous trilogy in any way. Like, obviously, it's based in the same universe, galaxy, whatever, one of those. It's based in that, so there's going to be no Commander Shepard or anything like that. So I'm excited to see what they come up with.
Are you in games like this where there's like opposed moral choices?
Yep.
Are you good or bad? Do you play in a particular way? Or are you quite balanced?
I tend to be good.
I do good the first playthrough and bad the second, pretty much every time.
I'm always good.
I
just can't bring myself to do it. I just can't bring myself to be an arsehole.
Do you play Infamous in a bad way?
Not really.
It was a lot more fun. You got better powers. I thought the powers were better.
Like life.
Yeah.
Get better power-ups if you're horrible. Look at Gav.
Be a bit of a shit and you get better powers.
He's like that guy in Far Cry 3 with all the tattoos. That's what they can represent. What he can do is all his skills, all his perks.
What, Brody? Was it Brody?
Yeah.
Brody, whatever.
He was an arsehole.
I'm trying to think what perks, what tattoos Gav has got.
He's got Steve Zissou.
He's got a lot of robots. And
means he's good.
Is it a lion or a bear on his knuckles?
It's a bear, I think, but it looks a bit like a badger.
No, it's a badger. It's definitely a badger.
Okay.
He's got the power of a badger.
The anger of a badger.
Yeah.
And then the final thing we've got here is this Criterion racing game that was announced in 2014. It was the weird press conference that. It was the first time I went to E3.
Well, it's because they had nothing else to show.
A lot of it was work in progress.
That was the first time they showed Battlefront as well.
Yeah, and Criterion, they showed it, and it was just like this proof of concept. And it was all these different modes of transport, and you could race against each other.
Yeah.
And we were all like, how do you balance that? Surely the one with like motors in is going to be faster than this bloke on roller skates.
Rocket powered roller skates.
Yeah, that's true. Like Frank Spencer.
Exactly. I don't know. It is a weird one.
I would like them. Well, Criterion make really fun racing games,
and we haven't seen anything from them for a long time.
I wonder if that's vaporware though. Like there's not even been an update about it.
No. Well, they've got to be working on something.
Well, you'd hope so. Guys, what are you doing?
It could just be another Need for Speed or...
What are you doing at Need for Speed? Yeah. They don't make Need for Speed anymore. That's what made in Sweden now.
Yeah, is it Gotham Games?
Yeah.
So in that case, they're definitely doing something.
Well, again, you would hope so.
You would imagine. Black
guys,
2. Maybe Black 2.
They own the Burnout license, presumably. That didn't go to 3 Fields.
I don't think so. I don't know.
It seems strange that they'd abandoned that license as well. I mean, I know that they probably want to make new things, but it sounds like they're staying in the same sort of avenue.
Somebody should be making something with that name.
Yeah, I loved Paradise. I love Burnout 3 as well.
Burnout Paradise is one of the best racing games.
It was great
made.
The other thing that I've got on there with a question mark, Battlefront 2, I don't think we're going to see anything.
No, I think we're definitely going to see a Star Wars game of some kind.
You think we are?
Well,
I'd imagine so.
Yeah.
Well, like EA, now that Disney have dissolved their entire games thing, and like they also like EA signed the exclusive rights to make Star Wars games for X amount of years, and we know the Visceral one is like well underway.
Well, I feel like they've got to have a game tie-in for each film release every year. Like money-wise, it makes too much sense to not do that.
But so what you're saying? The next game would be what, Force Awakens tie-in? Or
no, I don't think it's going to be
just
a Star Wars game to release alongside it.
Yeah.
But what that is, the Visceral game, but don't know what type of game it's going to be.
I hope it's a Visceral one.
Han Solo action game.
Ooh, card game.
Card game. Kart racing.
What's the game that he plays? Is it Sabak or something like that?
Hearthstone.
Yeah. Massive high stuff.
Anything else we've missed on EA? I think that's kind of all of the main stuff ticked off. I'm sure you may well get stuff from PopCap, like
awesome.
Some Plants vs Zombies.
Peggle Free, give me Peggle Free.
Bejeweled, is that PopCap?
Yes, I'm playing Bejeweled on iPhone right now.
Vajazzle.
Why are you shaking your head at me?
Because I just sometimes I despair.
It's like Candy Crush, but Bejeweled. What's not to love?
It's like Candy Crush, but Bejeweled. Right.
Now Bejeweled came first, by the way. It was a joke.
What's not to love?
So following EA on the Sunday, although it's the Monday, correct, Timekeeper?
I've got a lot going on here. Wait, this is 3 a.m. on Monday.
Yeah, but
I think
for us, it will be in the evening on the Sunday. I can't work out.
I think we're confusing it for people.
Anyway, you've got to stay up.
If you're in England,
yes.
3 a.m. on Monday.
Yes. Bethesda has a live stream where presumably they will show Dishonored 2. You would have thought.
I'd imagine so.
But then also out today, or when we record this podcast, there was talk of a remake of Skyrim.
Yes.
Which, frankly, I could not be any less excited for.
What?
Skyrim was the most boring game.
I am such a sucker for remakes. Like, if it's a game I love, and if there's an excuse to go back and play it again.
You do that a lot. Whereas I will play a game, I will finish it, and I will never look back.
That's true. Except for The Division, where you came back for a little bit.
Yeah, but that's different because I didn't like.
There is post-game stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. I wouldn't play through a single-player like campaign-led thing more than once. I don't think I've ever done that.
I do it quite rapidly sometimes. Like Uncharted 4, I did again on Crushing.
I'm struggling to even finish that game.
Yeah, of course.
Where's he
Platinum trophy, mate. Platinum trophy.
Where's he get his time, Dale?
Just make use of my time strategically.
Effective use of time. Skyrim remake makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, it does make a heck of a lot of sense. Yeah,
definitely.
And I'm sure lots of people would be excited, but surely people would rather just have the next Skyrim.
Well, but these things take like 4 years, don't they?
Well, Skyrim, that was ages ago.
It was, but they make Fallout in between.
That team.
Oh, was it the same
Softworks,
team?
yeah. It's Todd Howard.
So 2011 was Skyrim, and then Fallout came out last year, so you'd imagine you were waiting quite a while for the next big one.
And they put this one out, and it can work.
Yeah.
All those issues it had.
Well, my main issue is that it just wasn't much fun. Like,
I've get on with it.
Well, no, like the first hour of the game.
It's definitely not your sort of thing.
It's definitely not.
Absolutely not your sort of thing. It's absolutely not your sort of thing.
But I remember, I think, like Keza was like, the opening is amazing, and this, that, and the other. I was like, okay, right, I'll sit down and play it. And like the dragon attacks you as you're going along, and all their like really weird candle wax faces didn't look very good. Yeah. So that put me off straight away. And then when you get into the game proper, I walked for about what felt like 45 minutes. And when I got there, the guy was like, "Can you sharpen my sword to me?" I was like, "Why don't you just fuck off and sharpen it yourself?"
You're missing the point of the game.
Point I stopped playing it.
The headspace you're in that, like, it's like role play game. But you're piss off, mate. I've got a lot on.
You put the grumpiness slide up to 10 right at the start.
It's not about grumpy. It's about like.
I just think the very DNA of that game is not to your liking.
Exactly.
Which is fine. That's absolutely fine.
It's not your bag, and
it's absolutely fine.
I don't go for podcasts very often. I just need to push my opinion on everyone.
Fair enough.
Whether it's right or wrong.
But there was also other rumours today about what else might be at that press conference. Now, there was Prey 2, the mythical Prey 2, which was once a game, then evaporated, and now possibly is reincarnated as Prey 2.
Do you care?
Well,
when was that shown at E3? That was ages ago.
2012.
Was it?
Because I made the video for it earlier. So
right.
That's how I remember.
I saw Prey 2. I saw the behind closed door presentation at Gamescom, like my first Gamescom maybe,
right?
Or second, so 2012. And it looks incredible. It was the one that made it look a bit like Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And it was such an impressive demo. And it was one of those kind of target demos where like, I think they did that. They're like, well, I should be quite hard to make that.
Spin it off.
And that's kind of what happened. But if they can somehow have kept that going, or it looks, I wonder whether it will look anything like that at all, or again, it'll be they went straight back to the drawing board and it's completely done from scratch. But that was a mighty impressive game.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
Yeah. And then
it's
also
weird that Prey 2 so long ago since the original Prey, and
I can't really remember.
And it's like very different from that original game anyway. Yeah. So it's like, should you just call it a new thing? Maybe just do that.
Now they're going off the fact of the anticipation from the announcement of it before, as opposed to the initial Prey.
But the amount of people that would resonate with compared to all the people that could potentially buy your game and be put off by the number 2, you might as well just get to a point where you make it a new thing.
Well, that is. As we go through this list, it's all sequels.
But that makes sense because we're mid-cycle.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I would imagine it's a time for a lot of sequels.
And I guess new announcements will probably either be codenamed or have no name whatsoever.
Yeah.
And a lot with the sequels as well. These days, a lot of numbers are usually dropped straight away as well to try and get new customers in. It's almost like trying to trick them in, isn't it?
Yeah, but sometimes, it's weird because some it doesn't seem to matter with because people just don't care.
Yeah.
Like GTA, obviously the number doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Far Cry, I know they dropped it for Primal, but 4 they didn't. And I remember that being a discussion we had at the time. It's like, does it matter? Because this is like an episode. This is a standalone thing. They're not like even a continuous story, but the number implies that it is.
Yeah, it's the same with Final Fantasy. Like, I know that there is no kind of chronological story there, as far as I'm aware.
No.
But still, the fact it's 15, I'm like, I've no idea what's happened in all the other ones apart from there's Chocobos and Moogles.
But that's been established now that people get that you don't need to know that with Final Fantasy. Where some, like when Fallout came out, I had at least 3 different friends text me saying, do I have to have played the previous ones to play Fallout 4? And I say, no, you don't. But that general idea hadn't been established. But with Final Fantasy, everyone
knows.
I'd imagine.
Right.
Well, I'm not sure.
Really?
Because,
maybe not.
In terms of it's got a very defined style.
Yeah.
And obviously there are consistents in the world that come across. And I don't even know if it is the same world. Obviously, they're the same creatures.
Sometimes different words. It's Chocobos, a guy called Sid, and then that's about it. And then
we're not Final Fantasy.
Every time we go back to the drawing board and go, what do you want to keep? Keep Sid. I like Sid. He served as well. You've played a lot of Final Fantasy.
I played 7, 8, 9, 10, never touched 11, 12. I played.
Sounds like a Craig David song.
Yeah. On Monday, I played Final Fantasy.
Get out of my sight.
I played 13 for a little bit and thought it was terrible, and then I haven't played one since then. So.
That's only 14.
Well, no, there was 13.2 and 13.3.
Let's not.
But that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Please
not. Never played them.
Let's not do this.
Evil Within 2. You wrote that down the list.
Yeah.
Is that because you know it's coming, or is it?
It's just the one that was rumoured today as being
sense.
in that thing. Well, yeah, it's pretty popular. It's pretty acclaimed. Also, I think I didn't put it on here. Also, Wolfenstein 2.
Right.
Which is another game recently did very well, very acclaimed. Yeah, and I think it's good for Bethesda because, like, for a while they only had a couple of main franchises, and now they've got these other ones they've started, and they probably need to give a little bit of love and attention to.
They've also got Quake
and Doom. I mean, no, it just came out, but they might do some big DLC for it.
I can't imagine that's the thing, right? Because like with multiplayer, Doom feels so much like Quake does now.
Right. Yeah.
I don't really know what Quake would do to make it feel different.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't make games. So that is day one of the press conferences for us done. Oh, I wish it was.
If you're in Britain.
Yeah. And then following that on the Monday morning LA time, or what time UK time?
We read these times so confused. This is, if you're in England, Microsoft, 5:30 p.m.
So just as you're finishing work, you can tune in to the Microsoft press conference, where you would assume they're going to talk about the much rumoured new Xboxes. So a slim version of the One, and then Microsoft Xbox 1.5, or whatever they're going to call it, which is the more powerful than the current one.
So,
console.
Playing devil's advocate, do you think they will actually announce these new consoles here? Or do you think it's such a kind of complicated issue they'd do a separate event?
I think, looking at the potential titles they've got, our list is not complete, obviously, but going through that, you've got Forza Horizon 3, rumoured Dead Rising 4, more on Crackdown, more on Sea of Thieves. It's pretty weak, I think. They might reveal more on HoloLens, because that's been a long time coming. But I think they need something big, and I'm sure we'll see more on Call of Duty. I know, because Call of Duty is PlayStation now, isn't it, in terms of hero titles. I don't know, what else are they going to have?
It's going to be tricky for them, really, because that news could essentially be, to a lot of people, see that as bad news.
Like
so they've got to spin it in a certain way.
The presentation needs to be absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
The way that you pitch that in a way that's exciting for the people who want it, but not alienating or confusing for the people who don't get it.
Do you think when Microsoft make their announcement, depending on how the public react, do you think Sony will still
it's classic.
straight to the drawing board?
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
It's the console announcements all over again. Sony gets to have the luxury of going later in the day. Obviously, a lot of this will be scripted for months in advance and performed.
Yeah.
But they still have the time to like wiggle or announce price or all those sort of things. Well, they can adjust price. They might have like a range that they can go within depending on what.
Would you... If you were coming as, I don't know, let's say your PlayStation and your Xbox, would you rather go first or second?
A second, absolutely, I believe.
Why? Would you
Because
not want to
of
get
what
your
we
news
just
out?
spoke about.
But wouldn't you want to get your news out there first and be confident that you got it right first time? Because I would argue that the reason Microsoft suffered is because they made a real bodge job of like appealing to the target audience. They basically promoted a entertainment product to a games audience, and that's why everybody felt alienated.
So bad, wasn't
Whereas
it?
if they got that right, they could have been the first out the stall, everybody going mad for Xbox, job done.
I don't think it was just, I mean, it was the E3 conference, but it was, not the E3 conference there.
The announcement.
Yeah.
But it was the word of mouth as well, because, you know, when a small community starts speaking about how they're doing all these things wrong, and then their friends get word of it, it spreads like wildfire.
But that's got more to do with the way they announced it rather than when they announced it. And that's I think if they've got their messaging right, it could have been a positive for them because they could have been first out the box.
But second, you can react to anything that the first company do, and then you can make sure that
within
yours
reason.
delivers.
Yeah.
Well, within reason, but they can still counteract. That
So
message.
how would you, with all your years of industry experience and how many
Red Hot
E3s you've
Tip
been
begins?
to, how many countless
63.
E3 press conferences that your arse has graced the seats of, how would you pitch this to an E3 audience with the eyes of the world watching?
Pitch what?
The 0.5 console.
Well, I think first of all, let's break it into two things, Daniel.
Okay.
So I think firstly, the Slim is an easy sell because it'll be
the Slim, right? Yeah.
budget price, and let's face it, the current Xbox is a horrible brick, and I'd very much like a much nicer designed unit. So they may well just go for that. They may not talk about like a more powerful one because that straight away is like, well, hang on a minute, you've got that, and then what on earth would you call the 1.5? I don't know.
Sure, they have some sort of fancy name
Xbox
for it.
111?
Xbox 2.
Well, you can't call it the
Breeze
Xbox
block.
2 because it's technically the Xbox 4.
Well, the Xbox One was technically the Xbox 2. Wait,
Exactly.
Xbox Plus.
So that, to answer your question, I have no idea.
Right, you don't know?
Well, I don't know about because it's a stupid
come on
idea,
now.
unless it is the Xbox One Plus or something like that.
The thing is, like, we live in a world where, you know, the 6S exists.
Yeah.
Like, the
Sure.
idea of, like, a slightly updated version coming out a little bit after isn't totally alien. I think you just need to stress that if you have a current Xbox, you will be able to play every game still. That's the important thing. If you come out and start going certain games you won't be able to play, it's like, that is a red flag.
And I think that's the thing. Like, you know, I don't know what the differences will be, but I think it's essentially upscaled 4K support is probably what we're looking at.
Do you think it's going to be like what PC community is more like used to? That if you have an amazing graphics card, obviously your game's going to look better.
Yeah, of course. But like, you know, what would that mean for? Again, using Overwatch as an example, you would imagine that the majority of the player base there is going to be on standard Xbox One. Is it going to be compatible? I would assume it would be,
because
but it's just upscaled.
what's different is just like the end experience. Like the underlying structure of that game wouldn't. Just as like people with varying powers of PC can play with each other.
Yeah.
If on the rumoured Neo spec, so they were very insistent on how the actual core experience is for like the PlayStation 4, and then it's just an enhanced one, and it's enhanced by, you know, maybe slight graphicals and frame rates.
Because that's the thing, in terms of
also,
textures and stuff like that,
absolutely.
they're not going to go in and recreate the whole game from scratch.
Also,
it's the same.
And also, as a developer,
polycounts.
are you wanting? Nobody's going to want to make a game that only a small percentage of the community.
Yeah.
But what you could do if they were smart is just say every game you'll be able to play, but then 4 years down the road, 4 years later, where you're at the end of the cycle, then you could possibly start putting out games by then when more people have the new console and go, you know, it's late on, but trying to get a little bit more out of the console. This is only playable on the new ones.
Most people are developing
devolving into
PC. Developing PC games for 4K, or at least having an eye on like that kind of stuff. So you would imagine that kind of dev cycle is there already. But it depends. Aside from graphical finesse, like I don't know, I guess it would up the frame rate, make it run smoother. But again, I'm not playing my current games going, I need that.
I'm with you totally there. I mean, I don't understand quite the outrage because no one's forcing my hand to buy this thing. Yeah. As far as we're aware, I'll still be able to play all the games that I want to play for the foreseeable future. And I don't have a massive problem with the way games play now, like frame rate wise and things like that. I'm not a graphical whore.
Also, I don't have a massive problem with it existing.
No.
Like, no. If people want to, and if it's like you've got a 4K TV and you maybe only own one console at the minute and you want to get the other one, it's an option. Like when the 6S comes out, I go, that's kind of a cool fefeature, but I don't need it right now. But maybe when I need to upgrade, I'll get that one. Or
and with iOS, what they do is so they'll make a game available. And let's say it comes out and it was first came out for the 5, that would usually be able to play on, say, the 4 and the 3G or something like that, but it wouldn't play on the 2. Or you know, it's like a few generations the game will be safe for, and then eventually it'll be phased out. And I imagine it'll be something similar with that.
But does that then, we'll then see remakes of remakes, so a 4K remake of the Uncharted
if
collection
there's money to be made, we will inevitably see
Stop it now. That's all I'm asking. Don't do that.
Vote with your wallet.
But I think the other thing that I guess maybe plays into this is VR or HoloLens in Microsoft's case, because that obviously requires additional processing grunt.
Well, because the PlayStation VR comes with a little external box, which I imagine if this new PlayStation is a thing, it'll be included.
Built in, So,
you'd hope.
But again, I know actually we know very little about HoloLens so far.
Yeah.
So you've put HoloLens. I feel like they don't know what that is because it's very expensive. But
Sony's going to come out.
It's not a VR thing. Like they've partnered with Oculus for their VR.
That's true.
Headset. Yeah. HoloLens is this weird other thing, and I think they like to show it off. But I think it's one of those things that will be around for several years.
But do you think that they're going to ignore VR completely when PlayStation is coming out hard?
I think it depends on results. I think if PlayStation VR takes off big time, then they absolutely won't ignore it.
No, I know, but I mean for this conference.
For the actual conference?
I think they might announce more like partnerships with Oculus and things like that, but they can't affect the Oculus price right now. No. But they might, they did announce that partnership earlier in the year when, it was actually last year when, the Oculus comes with an Xbox controller and all that sort of stuff. So maybe they'll strengthen their partnership in some way.
Yeah.
But I don't think HoloLens is a real gaming peripheral.
No.
So I think right now it's curiosity, and it could be a cool bit of tech for various different businesses and maybe around the house, but not for a long while yet.
Yeah. So other games have got listed. So Dead Rising 4, that was rumoured today. I don't know, I find it hard to get excited about Dead Rising.
I can't believe they're rumouring that again as an exclusive. That just seems crazy to me. That Dead Rising 3 was an exclusive.
Yeah.
Well, actually, do we know that that's...
No, it's rumoured.
It's rumoured to be coming out, but is it rumoured to be an Xbox exclusive or not?
I'm pretty sure I read that earlier. Yes. Because there was there's another game that was rumoured to be exclusive to PlayStation.
Right.
That I won't talk about.
Ooh. Hello. Forza Horizon 3. I like the Forza Horizon series.
I definitely prefer them out of the two.
And the first one was set in America at a music festival. Second one was set in the Mediterranean. Third one, where would you like it to be set? Blackburn.
Space.
Blackburn. Imagine that.
Putting Blackburn on the map.
Just rainy.
Is that got a good...
I love Blackburn. I'm from Blackburn, should say. I'm not just giving it a kicking for people who are listening. But imagine that.
Has it got a good
Just imagine that
scene?
just doing skids in Asda car park. Or in Morrison's on
Doesn't have to be
multi-story.
For our American listeners.
Walmart is owned by Walmart, isn't it?
Yes. Is this Morrison's the peak of Blackburn, by the way? Asda.
Well, it's not the peak.
But that's the first thing that you came to.
We've got it all, mate. We've got Tesco, Sainsbury's. We actually don't have Sainsbury's.
Is there a Waitrose?
No, definitely not a Waitrose. Got a drive-through Starbucks.
I know.
Got a Lidl.
I like drive-through Starbucks. Although I hate the fact I was in one weekend before last.
Getting your soy latte.
No.
Definitely don't do that in Blackburn.
I hate the fact that the people that go to the drive-through get preference over the people in the store.
So when people ring up. when you're there in person.
Oh man, I went to a kebab shop on Friday night. Not even drunk.
Just wanted a kebab.
We didn't have any food in the house, and my missus was like, "Do you want a kebab?" I was like, "That's a great idea."
What did you get out of interest?
Just a standard doner.
No,
big
sauce, a lot of salads.
Chili sauce.
Chili
Garlic?
sauce, good,
No garlic?
No.
I really want a kebab.
And no onion. Don't like
But did you get the rest of the salad?
all the salads, yeah.
I like when people get kebab and they justify that it's a nice kebab. Oh, they do good salad though. you don't care about it. No, people go, oh, they do a lovely mix of salad. That's not why you're going.
But anyway,
Take the salad out.
I was there by like 7:30 on Friday night. Only one in the shop, yet they must have taken at least 6 or 7 minutes to get to me because they had all these orders that people had phoned up.
You were there. You were there in person.
Exactly.
Think of all the things you could have done in that 6 or 7
Charlotte get
minutes.
doner kebab as well.
Yeah, but she had onion. I didn't.
That's the,
Little insight into our lives.
and that's the difference.
Exactly.
The little ones join in as well.
They've gone to bed.
Save them some for the next run in for breakfast.
It's Friday night romance.
Yeah, 2 chicken
Kebab
shish.
for 2.
Wake
that's
up,
pushing the boat out.
hugging the kebabs.
There you go. That's a treat for you
Oh,
there.
kebab Santa's been in the night. A kebab fairy.
God, I could
Kebab
really
Santa
eat a
should be the name of this
kebab right
podcast.
Oh, I wonder when am I going to treat my kids to their first kebabs?
That
Something to
rite
look
of
forward to,
passage. First kebab.
What's a good age for that? I remember when I had my first kebab, it was from the Godfather kebab shop, which was next door to the video shop in our in Blackburn.
Right.
And I went and I rented a video with my dad, and he got me kebab.
What video was it?
Don't know. I remember once my dad rented.
Do you remember that kebab though?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, that's a landmark in a child's life. I remember also my dad once, he picked me, this is a bit naughty this. I got out of school early one day, it was half day, and my dad took a half day off to pick me up. And he went to the video shop and rented me Nightmare on Elm Street because I wanted to watch it. And my mum wasn't in, and we were going to watch it in the afternoon. Got home, tape was mangled. I was devastated, I was so upset. I was
How old were you?
About 12 or 13.
That's all right.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I watched loads of stuff.
But
bit young.
Yeah.
Like, because my dad, he worked for Pioneer, so he had a Laserdisc player.
Nice.
And we had very few films, but he had Alien. And I remember watching that, like, I don't know, 11 or 12, and just being terrified.
Yeah, that's a good time to watch it when you're absolutely terrified of it.
I saw The Exorcist when I was about 11, I think. Because my dad used to have a mobile video store, and then he'd since closed it down.
Mobile video store?
Yeah. So this is a thing.
In his
apparently.
boot?
No, apparently he went around. He drove around to people's houses. And they'd ring ahead, say what film they want. He'd go and deliver it to them. And it was a thing. Apparently, it's before I was born. But because of that, he had loads of old videos left over because he'd stopped doing it. So I just would go on my days off, go through all the videos, and just thought I'm watching that one today. And found The Exorcist. Thought let's check that one out. Watch it on my day off school.
There you go.
Good education that was.
Let's get back to E3.
Yeah.
Crackdown. Excited to see more of that. Sea of Thieves. Still,
I don't even know what that game is really.
Yeah, no,
like
exactly.
actually how
They
you play
touched
it.
upon it
But I thought
briefly.
it was cool.
Yeah, pirates and
And it
all
was
that.
like it was co-op, and people fulfill different roles as part of a crew.
Like, I think
I'm all for that.
think
I could be the cook.
it's now is the time where Rare needs to kind of knock it out of the park.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
bring it back.
A real one.
Well, they did a Rare replay, which kind of got everyone back on side, like, Rare did some amazing stuff, and now it's the next chapter. It's like that's the thing you've said by doing that retrospective. Going, our company is all about doing different things and experimenting and trying different genres and different characters. This is now that next new thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Following Microsoft, so there used to be an EA conference. There isn't anymore because that's happened the day before.
Madness.
So Microsoft is up next, and that happens at what time, Daniel?
9 p.m.
UK.
9 p.m. UK time.
What's that?
So 1 p.m. for us.
Okay.
And that actually, I do remember that. I remember this is quite a few years ago. I missed a Ubisoft conference because I went for lunch and we had a few beers instead.
Was it a good conference?
Don't know.
No, I mean, you obviously looked about it afterwards.
Well, I knew that.
You feel like you missed out?
The US guys had it covered. Just going to go and have a few of these.
Where's Alex?
Yeah, these IPAs.
He's walking around Santa Monica looking for a kebab shop.
No, that's somebody else on
Where's
our
Kebab Santa?
somebody else on our international team that might be doing that.
Sheesh.
Are they called kebabs in the US? Yeah. What's all that
That's
about?
weird. That is.
Yeah.
Really? I did
I
not know
know,
that.
and they still spell it kebab.
Yeah, kebab.
Kebab. The kebab.
That is strange.
It is weird. So Ubisoft. So we know that Ghost Recon Wildlands is coming out. Very excited about that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously we know that Watch Dogs 2 is coming. Especially if you look at adverts on IGN.
Yes.
Nothing to do with us.
I'm interested to see more about Watch Dogs 2.
Well,
I didn't hate the first one.
That's a glowing...
Yeah, well, no, but a lot of people really disliked it, but I thought I enjoyed it. I played through the whole story. I mean...
How many
had a good time
times?
with it. And just the once.
That has not got the Dale Drive seal of approval.
That's why I said I
quite
completely hate it.
It's a cool concept, but you just like...
The character was just so dull, though.
Boring, and they end up using the same abilities over and over again in very similar situations. Not like you learn these few abilities and then had to be really creative with them.
It was a really good ideas game, I thought. You know, it had that multiplayer game where someone was playing on an iPad.
Yeah. I never played it.
That was really cool.
I heard that was really good.
It just had some really good ideas. I just felt like it lacked a little bit in the execution, and hopefully this time they can change it.
Judging by what's leaked, by the time this podcast goes out, the actual announcement will have taken place. It looks like it's set in San Francisco.
Cool.
New character.
Which makes sense for that kind of game, because that is like the tech hub of America.
Yeah.
So I think they may be playing into...
Apple HQ.
Yeah, and the guy who's the lead character, he looks a bit younger. He looks... I know it's just the picture, but it looks like less serious, like he might be kind of...
What's his baseball hat like?
It's
got the...
It's
got glasses.
His face mask has got...
Hero with glasses. You know what it means? It means he's smart. Poindexter.
Like me.
Do you know Watch Dogs? He had that trench coat and the scarf over his mouth. It was like he was trying to be inconspicuous, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I had him dressed up in a costume that I got that was fully white. So it like stood out. He's like glowing as he walked through the streets.
He'd be mucky. But also with him, correct me if I'm wrong, did he not have a big leather jacket? But the creases in the leather jacket made the logo of Watch Dogs. Am I imagining that in the back?
I don't remember that.
Because if not, like, it's probably him, isn't it?
There was a lot of things in that game.
Watch Doggy.
Like, if you look at, I don't know, like The Division now, and obviously they've learned a lot in terms of open world since then. But that the Watch Dogs world was just so static. Like, I remember there was one bit where you go to, is it your kids' party or something like that?
Yeah.
And all these balloons are just kind of all static there, and all the characters are really
Well, the
wooden.
famous thing with that game, wasn't it, that you could vault over people's graves? That you'd be mourning at it, and the next day, like, would you like to vault over your sister's grave, or whoever it was, or your wife?
I would.
Yeah, I would.
I'm a little bit sad, but I feel like vaulting would make me happier.
Oh no, I got snagged on my...
Trench.
But San Francisco, modern San Francisco in a game, that'd be pretty cool, I think. Nice to have a car chase in there.
Yes. And, I don't know, do something with the Golden Gate Bridge.
Destroy it.
Ooh. Do you think?
Trigger that bridge up and down.
Doesn't go up and down.
It does in this game, mate.
Hollow Bridge.
Have you ever been to San Francisco?
Yes, I have actually. I went last year, but...
And the bridge went up and down for you?
Well, you know, it was a slip.
Magneto was there. But yeah, it definitely looks like they've probably listened to the feedback, and like they'll come out and inject a bit more personality into that for sure.
That's what it definitely needs.
Well, actually, if you listen to this, you've already seen it, so
yeah.
Good on you.
Tell us.
You tell us.
Right, and tell us
what
we got
UK
wrong
feedback
right.
at IGN.com. Tell us what we probably saw also last week.
Yeah. Do you think that they will finally show more of Beyond Good and Evil 2?
Is that game not dead?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I got to imagine it's dead at this point.
Well, Michel Ancel's off doing his own thing, but they still won't come out and say
What's
it's actually
game?
dead.
What's that game that he's
Wild.
That's right.
And he's making that for Sony.
Yeah.
They still won't come out and say it's actually dead, which makes me believe that they're doing something with it.
How long ago was that teaser trailer?
Oh man, yonks.
And it seems like any sort of anticipation or buzz around that game has long since
I think
died
most people
out.
won't even know what it is.
No.
I remember when that trailer first released, though, and among like the gaming community and stuff, it seemed like it was
Yeah,
people
it was a cool
excited
trailer,
for it.
yeah.
But now it's just like
It's one of
nobody's
the things that
talking
you just
about
wait
that.
too long and you miss the boat.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But that's, well, again, jumping the gun a little bit. Like, we're going to see more of Last Guardian, and if there's any game guilty of doing
the one
that,
announcement
then
they
it is.
absolutely have to make this year is release date.
They don't. Oh my god.
Although saying that, do you not think people still talk about that game every year? They still say, "Is it going to be here? Is it going to be at this
but
conference?
almost
This
like,
conference?" Beyond Good and Evil,
like,
people stop talking about full stop.
Yeah,
Except for right now.
Yeah, but I think if they made another announcement, I think people get excited. I never
It's
really played
it's
it.
like Oscar Wilde thing. There's only one thing worse than being talked about, and that's not being talked about.
Mm.
So it's quite good that Last Guardian has its own kind of mythic status. That it is that one. It is that one. But It is, isn't it?
Well,
if we just send someone to see it in Japan.
Is the Duke Nukem Forever of this generation?
It feels like it will, and it'll come out.
Don't say that.
Oh, no.
Not gameplay wise.
Not like that. Not just rubbing a poo on a wall. We've waited 9 years for this.
Taking it in a new direction. Yeah.
Oh. Actually, think about it. If that's like that big bird dog.
What?
Trico.
Picking up after that.
That's a
The bags for that. Oh, it'd be bigger than you. Good.
Speaking of poo,
That's what I bring.
let me. I'm going to give you my top tip for E3
Go
if you're
on.
going for the first time. Undoubtedly, you will drink too much or more than you should. And if, like us 2 years ago, we had some particularly hot and spicy chicken wings that played havoc
Bowel
with my
movements.
downstairs area, and the E3 toilets aren't the nicest. Basically, you are sat next to some fat, overweight, sweaty dude emptying his insides out, and it's awful to listen to. So make sure you put headphones on and listen to something calming while emptying
I
yourself.
feel like there's several other things you could do to prevent that as
What?
well.
I would not go.
Not eat the
publicly.
spicy food.
I would
I
not.
I remember
Sweet little choice, Daniel.
I remember being at the IGN booth going, oh my God, I've got to go now. And like, thankfully, it was very close to the toilets. And it literally was trousers down, out it fell without, I didn't even have to relax.
You're really glad. I'm
It's
about
quite
to say he's
graphic.
really glad he's not on this
But
podcast.
thankfully, I was listening to some nice music, so I couldn't hear. It's like, there's nothing worse than
But you
hearing
know what's
somebody else
horrible?
like, really struggling
American
to get one
toilets
out.
are weird. The big gap. The big
Yeah,
gap.
they are.
You know when you close
Yeah.
the cubicle
Yeah,
doors in
yeah.
America, there's that massive gap. And then there's a strange eyeball in you.
The one in the IGN offices, like I've never done it in there. I've never felt brave enough to curl one up in there because there is, I would say, a half-inch gap, and I'm sat there going,
You're right, Per.
exactly.
It's weird, isn't it? Like I don't. What? There must be a reason for that in America. I don't know what. Dirty.
Filth.
Wait, herbs.
Anyway,
They love it, don't they?
So
Part of their rights.
summarise your tip was make sure you have a poo.
well, no, if you need to go, like I would suggest that the soundtrack to have a relaxing time isn't listening to other people.
Load up your iPhone.
I hardly
That's your
ever
tip.
go for in public.
Full stop.
Yeah,
Right.
Public
Why
toilets or
is
just
that?
in
public
public?
toilets for number twos.
But what if you just have to?
I just plan it. I plan it better.
How do you plan it?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm very often. I'm not very often caught short.
Yeah.
You're not.
At
No.
festivals, I'll just find myself just not needing a poo for a couple of days, and then I get home, and then all havoc.
I just reabsorb it.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
Yeah, it's weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There you go.
Got ill.
Just let it all out. Exactly. You are literally full of shit.
Yeah.
So other stuff that not been announced, but obviously in terms of Ubisoft games that they have on their rosters, Splinter Cell. About time we saw a new Splinter Cell.
Mm-hmm.
The movie is still happening, is it?
Well, there's never been an update about that. It was supposed to be Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Well, there was an update the other day about Jake Gyllenhaal doing a Division movie.
That's
Yes.
crazy
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they're
yeah,
doing
yeah.
that already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ubisoft go movie
Like
crazy.
he's writing it and directing
Yeah.
it, is he?
That could look really cool. Producing it, I think.
Do you
Right.
think this says something about the confidence they have for Assassin's Creed?
I think they're probably just getting everything green lit. I do think Assassin's Creed does have a good chance of being decent.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go out and say I think it would be great, but I think it's got a really high chance.
Yeah.
And Jake Gyllenhaal's fantastic, and that's a cool premise
some
for
really
a
good
movie.
stuff. Yeah,
And,
yeah,
the
yeah,
visuals of
yeah.
that, like a desert in New York.
Yeah.
And they do a really focused, probably personal story of him being an agent and he needs to save someone. I don't think. I don't know.
Yeah, thinking about it, it would be quite cool.
What, you don't think it would just go on forever and ever and he's just going
Just
around
grinding.
getting really
Just a lot
shit
of
lit?
running.
The last hour he's just getting killed because everyone's got plus 20 gear score.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
Just
He spent-
running down like 23rd Street the entire time. That's most of the film.
He spends 45 minutes trying to kill a boss, and all he gets is a nice holster upgrade. It's like,
It's like,
Just in cover waiting on cooldowns.
got the sick knee pads.
Oscar.
and then Prince of Persia. Do you think they're going to bring back Prince of Persia?
Well, it's another one of the biggies that they've
Yeah.
not.
But that
Done for
the
a
last
while.
game was, man, that was ages ago.
Which
There was that cell shaded one.
Yeah.
No, they've done several since then, didn't they?
No.
Which one am I thinking? There was one called Prince of Persia that had Nolan North. That was a long time
Was that
ago.
not a cell shaded one?
That was cell shaded, and then there's a few
Was there
since
one
then.
since then?
There was a couple since then.
I don't think there was.
Maybe
Was
we
there not
should.
one realistic one?
It was the one where they introduced the rewind thing where so you couldn't die.
No, there's been Prince of Persia since then. I'm sure.
Are you sure?
Oh, now you're making me doubt myself.
All right.
Everyone's phones are out now.
People are just going to actually
keep the podcast going, Dale.
Yeah,
keep it going. Always going.
Other games. That's it for the Ubisoft list.
No. I want you to keep the podcast going.
We'll keep it going by going on to the next section. So the next conference will be at 2 a.m. British time on June 14th. So what you want to do an hour prior to this is go out, get a kebab, come back home, and it's time for Sony.
Kebab Christmas.
Back on kebabs.
So you can watch Sony.
Well,
with
we'll
a nice,
be in the US, so we'll get a kebab.
A kebab. So we've actually talked a lot about this already. We've done the PS4.5 and Last Guardian. Now the other thing we've got written down for Sony is a possibility of God of War 3, which has been rumoured. What did I say?
God of War 3.
There might be. I don't know if you know that God of War 3 might be coming out sometime soon.
I'd really like to review that.
God of War 4. That's hard to say, isn't it? God of War 4.
It definitely won't be called that.
It's going to be called God of War 4 Thor. Because the rumour is that it was kind of Norse mythology.
Yeah.
Do you really have any interest in more God of War?
Yeah.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
I've never really been into that series. Why you?
I love the God of War
pitch
series.
it to me then.
I think the best thing about the God of War series was just the sheer gameplay and combat, and taking out an angry man out of this equation can only make it better.
Because it did set pieces very well. It scaled really well. It used technology brilliantly.
Absolutely.
So I think the thing that everyone seems to have a lot of problem with is the central character.
Well, it was to its detriment. I think when the first God of War, it was a different era, and our characters were
simpler time.
Exactly, they were more two-dimensional characters. Literally, sometimes
you could be white and red and be angry at everyone.
Yeah, but in God of War 3, it just felt like it was just a bit ridiculous. He was like a character.
There's been 4 actually. There's Ascension. There was a 4th one.
Yeah. I reviewed it.
I know you did, but I kind of just blocked that out because it was a horrendous experience.
You didn't do it.
You're shouting at your computer every day.
I say I'm a God of War fan, but I never actually played Ascension, so the last one I played was 3, so it feels like a long time since I've played these games.
Did you play the remaster?
No, I didn't.
Oh, he loves the remaster as well.
When it's on sale, though, maybe.
Do you want some answers on Prince of Persia?
Shoot.
So, the Prince of Persia game that Cell Shaded came out in 2008. But there was one since then that came out 2 years later called The Forgotten Sands, also known as The Forgotten Game. So
I played it, so I didn't forget it. So Dale wins, I think.
Dale wins.
10 points on keyword countdown. Dale wins.
Dale wins. Right. Anything else for Sony?
Well, have you mentioned the last bit? Sorry, I was
not yet.
so focused on
I was lining you up.
Thank you. Do you want to talk more about Neo or not?
I think we covered it. We covered it a lot in the Xbox One.
Surely they'll do more VR stuff, and like solidify more of the launch lineup that we're going to see around that kind of stuff. But obviously, apart from that, I don't know what else.
How much of their conference do you think will be dedicated to VR?
Well, you would imagine that's their big hardware launch for the second half of this year, but they've sold out already, right? So
have they?
I thought they had. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
well,
know.
Wave 1 they've sold out.
Oh wow! Okay.
When the pre-orders went live. Dan Kilby's got one. Sad Dan.
Nice.
But then obviously Kojima has been touring the world on Sony's dollar for the last.
So definitely no game made.
So I think they'll probably spend half an hour just going through his snapshots of where he's been to.
I would love that. I was thinking, what do you think about this for a feature on IGN I was going to do is Kojima's top 12 bowls of ramen.
He seems to have eased off on that though.
Yeah, but there's loads of great ones out there. We could do a list of all the best foods Kojima's eaten and what maybe you can infer
around the world
them.
in 80 tweets.
Overanalyze the noodles he's been eating.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, probably won't do that.
Okay.
No.
Would you imagine if I got time with it at E3 and I came in with that? I think he would actually like it.
He probably would, because otherwise it's just him probably being asked about the split with Konami. Obviously, the only thing that's kind of doing the rounds at the minute is the skull soldier thing, whatever it is.
The logo/man.
A rumour has it that the dude that's inside is Norman Reedus.
Oh really?
Apparently.
That's good to work with him.
It looks a bit like a space jockey.
Mm.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you know that.
That game's got to be miles off.
Yeah, exactly. Though. The studio has only been formed for a few months.
Unless it's a card collecting game.
Maybe.
Ooh. And its whole tour was about getting an engine for a game, wasn't it? So
but
I think it's early
that's sweet, isn't it? Where you go shopping around and he's like looking, what you got?
Show me your engine.
It's like, what's it called? Snowdrop? It's going to cost
the
you.
Ubisoft one.
Ooh, what are you looking to do?
What's your buns?
Yeah, what are you building? Ooh, open world.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is for you, mate.
But I think surely Sony will have, like, they will roll him out whenever they can.
Like a big carpet.
Exactly. Even if he's got nothing to say. So that's all the press conferences. There's a PC one.
Well, there's lots of other little bits. I think Telltale might have a little thing, and like
we're showing
Mafia 3.
Mafia 3 on site, which is very exciting. But a few other things that have kind of been one that's been leaked or announced is that new stuff coming to LEGO Dimensions. So Sonic the Hedgehog coming to LEGO Dimensions.
Don't care.
Yeah. Well, it might be good if someone else.
That's true. That is very true.
A little Sonic.
I think Sonic within the context of that game
Yeah.
might be actually a good Sonic game.
All right, then.
But Lego characters are always like quite sluggish and slow the way they move around.
Well, he won't be.
All right.
But that's it. That'll be his.
make it
That's his
different.
ability. Switch to.
Imagine little Dr. Robotnik. That would be cool as well. Or
Visually.
Dr. Eggman. wherever.
Visually.
All right then.
Visually, but
Goonies.
What about the Goonies?
I do love the fact that some of these are really.
They're coming to LEGO Dimensions.
Sorry. Yeah,
I love when you look at the licenses you've written down here. Obviously, some to really cater for kids.
Yeah.
And then there's stuff like Goonies, very much like the Ghostbusters or Back to the Future. It's like, this is for the dads.
Yeah.
Or the mums.
But like, a little chunk or whatever the other dude's called. Who's the dude with the funny head?
Sloth.
Sloth, that's it, thank you. Him.
The dude with the funny head. Funny eyes,
I think
isn't it?
Chunk and Sloth are probably definitely the two they're going to go for.
Yes. Otherwise, they'd be really generic. Like a little.
Is he going to be in his little pirate outfit? That's what. There's got to be that version of him, hasn't there?
And then.
So Harry Potter.
You said it, and I imagined it. I was like, oh yeah, that would be quite good. Good, moving on.
Harry Potter. It's not the Daniel Radcliffe Harry Potter. It's the new one, Fantastic Beasts.
Is it?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Apparently.
That's associated with Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Did you not?
No.
I've
never seen a Harry Potter film. Never watched a single moment of Harry Potter.
They're definitely pinning on like people getting in Harry Potter people for that Fantastic Beasts. Yeah. That's interesting, actually.
Not my bag.
I believe so. But again,
I'm sure they'll go
Warner
then go
owns
back.
The license.
Yeah, but that's how you do that. You do it. You tie it in initially with the new thing, and then you go back and put Harry in.
Yeah, and then one for you, Dale. Powerpuff Girls.
Awesome. I'm in. I'm sold.
And Adventure Time.
Adventure Time's good one.
Yeah,
I've never
Adventure Time's a great
seen
one.
Adventure
It's
Time.
nuts.
Right.
That would be really cool, like levels as well. I think those are really cool additions.
Yeah.
I wonder, because Disney now dissolved, it would have been too soon for this E3 or this announcement or this wave, but now that Disney have dissolved Infinity, whether in a couple of years you're going to see Marvel, Star Wars,
I think you absolutely
and just
will.
Disney in general, because they just released the Disney minifigs.
Yeah, exactly. It's
money on the table.
Come on, yeah.
It's additional revenue for them.
And also, like,
obvious.
Everyone could just. They've done a good job in the past of Warner Bros. By alternating between DC and Marvel. They could do an awesome pack where it's going to be DC versus Marvel, which is something they do occasionally in the comics.
Yeah.
So whether they just
That's
go,
awesome that Lego get to do all this stuff. Isn't
yeah,
it? They just get all these franchises.
And I don't feel like Lego is a safe space for them just to go. Well, it's different
a lot
enough,
of that stuff
and it's
exists
like
in that universe already.
yeah,
So.
and they're like Lego versions of those characters. It's not like they may be less precious about it.
Yeah. You wrote down the second one on the list.
Yeah, I put Resident Evil 7 because it's been rumoured for ages. It's been a long time since we've had a core installment in that series, and I just feel like looking around E3 in general, a lot of the games that we know there, it is time of sequels, and I think this could come in this E3 and just own it. If it is the right pitch for this game.
Something special.
Like, it's one of the biggest series in gaming.
Yeah.
But in recent years, it's kind of had a bit of a tough time. There's been lots of like... It's also been quite cluttered in recent years because they've had all the kind of spin-offs, the remasters.
Even the main series, 6 was awful.
Well, 6 is Six is such a weird game. Like, it's literally a series having a massive identity crisis. Because it's 3 different games, and it's made by committee, and it's like, which one of these do you like more? And it didn't have a vision for what it wanted to be. When 4 was obviously one of the greatest games ever made. So I think what I would hope from this, what I would want as a fan of that series, is something like 4. Not that I want 4, but just come back.
The essence of
and also like 4 didn't even feel... yes, there's some Umbrella Corp stuff in there, but it didn't feel like really convoluted.
It's very minimal, the Umbrella stuff.
Yeah, you could play it as a standalone game because you're in this new location. And I think either get rid of all the Umbrella Corp stuff or do a similar approach where you never need to play another Resident Evil game before and just get that atmosphere, good puzzle, good shooting, scary enemies. That's what I want.
I totally think they're going to do a reboot, by the way. And when I say reboot, I don't mean recreate the first game. I think they're just going to completely scrap everything and just use the idea of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
So,
I think what that signifies to people.
Scary game.
Yeah.
But don't you think that Evil Within is doing that now?
Sorry?
Don't you think Evil Within has kind of taken that mantle and running with it?
But there's no reason why they can't both do it.
Yeah, and also I like the idea of it being one location.
Yes.
I really like that.
Go back to his roots. I mean, the Resident Evil remake was really well received as well. I mean, I love that game on GameCube as well, but then the HD one, they're doing 2 like that, which is awesome, but it clearly shows there's an appetite for those sort of games, so just scrap all the crap. Like, I don't want to see Wesker pop up again. Just start from scratch.
It's like, there's something about that original, how the mansion starts to like unfold and unlock.
Absolutely. I want new mysteries.
Yeah, like there's secrets behind the starting area, and the kind of the Metroidvania design, and also like Bloodborne and Dark Souls have done that really well recently, where there's a secret right where you begin. That's really satisfying.
I think they need to modernise some of the puzzle techniques though.
And the shooting and stuff.
Well, I'm not sure about you're picking up a lion coin and putting it into the bookshelf and all that sort of stuff.
If I know, like, whenever I go to kind of an ornamental garden or like a country house, if there's 2 statues, I know that they need to be pointing at each other.
And that's it.
And that's how you get out.
Yeah.
Vital lessons.
Just find the emblem.
Last game that we've got on our list, and I think this is more wishful thinking than actual reality of it going to be shown, is Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, Red Dead was a big game of yours.
Yeah, I brought that
liked
out.
It.
I loved Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
I was just before I got my job at IGN, and I played it all summer long.
Because it came out literally, I think it came out the month after Scarlett was born, which is why I never played it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Did you hunt every animal?
Yeah, I think I did everything. I think
there were some rare animals up in the forest, weren't there?
Yeah, and there's like the Bigfoot as well.
Was that actually in the game? I can't remember.
There was a Bigfoot. Yeah, you could find it. I hope I've not misremembered that. But yeah, like if you go into the forest area,
it's like you're trying to outdo. Is it like, did you hunt all of them? Yeah. Did you get the Bigfoot?
No,
I did. Yeah, but did you get the rare Bigfoot? You know, I got that
all summer. I wanted to
I'm
know
not
how
sure. I
deep
wonder. Is that maybe just an Undead Nightmare?
It might have been. I can't remember, to be honest. I just remember doing lots of hunting in that game.
There's also an Undead Nightmare. There's also the Chupacabra.
Ooh.
The mythical animal in Mexico. It's just an incredible game.
Yeah.
And imagine what that's going to look like now. Like, if you look at GTA 5, and that's a good few years ago now.
Yeah. But that, I think I was talking to someone about this. Like, GTA looks impressive because you're in a properly busy city. Mm-hmm. How far can they take the plains of the Wild West?
Trees.
Right, loads of trees.
Come on, better looking trees, updated tree textures.
Unless you went
updated
for,
sand textures.
Like, I don't know, a bit like the Hateful Eight stuff with, like, you know, snow and.
Yeah. But that's a thing in Red Dead. Sorry.
I was going to say, like, Red Dead for me, like, yes, the character of the city is bustling, but that's just creating an atmosphere. And Red Dead did that in a different way because, like, you're just there with nature and you're like riding across the landscape at night, and it's like you're on your own, and it creates atmosphere in different ways. Yeah. And it's maybe not populated, but I still think they can.
Use elements that were populated though as well. Obviously not to the level of GTA, but it did have a town. It had western villages.
Of course, yeah.
It had Mexico, which is like visually was so different.
And it's cool, like when you're like in the middle of nowhere and you ride up to those places, you do feel like a proper, like that proper scene, classic scene from any cowboy film. When you like ride up, you get off your horse and you walk into town. Like, did that brilliantly because it was all seamless. And you're like, I actually had to travel to get here as well. And they don't know me here. And oh man, I want to go play Red Dead Redemption.
Remember when you first get to Mexico and you're just riding and the music kicks in?
Yeah, it's one of the best moments of any video game. Like,
that's so good.
People hate the Mexico bit, but I feel like
it was slower. Wasn't it? Like, it felt like it got derailed, the story at that point a bit. He kind of lost his way and he was doing other things. But
it's got the best ending of maybe any video game I've ever played.
That if they did a remaster of that, I'd play that tomorrow.
Did you play Al?
I probably haven't got time. It was a big game, right?
Yeah, it was quite big.
I don't know. I don't particularly like westerns though.
Well, I don't. Right. I'm not a big western fan. I don't think that would matter too much. I think you just get into it. Like at the end, like you're playing a really good third person. You're basically playing a game that's quite like GTA.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't particularly like Hateful Eight.
No, I didn't actually.
Okay. I loved Django Unchained.
Yeah.
That was great fun.
Hateful Eight is very slow.
It's really slow. It's so self-indulgent.
The first half is a tough watch, I felt.
Yeah.
Like, it was so self-indulgent with dialogue as well. So if I know that's Tarantino's thing as well.
I know,
usually,
but like
it felt too much.
Do with a bit of an edit.
Yeah. Whereas the second half I thought was really good.
Well, I thought it was going to be more the kind of mystery, like who is it, and paranoia, and like it could have just been that, and I think it would have been anyway.
Yeah, derailed.
Anyway, those are the things that we're kind of expecting to see at E3, and also some things we're excited to see when we're out in LA. If we've missed anything, do let us know. IGN_UK feedback at IGN.com. Let's move on to feedback.
First bit of feedback here relates to the last week. This is from Sapo for Show.
Okay.
Not his birth name, I guess.
Show.
He says Texans call it broccoli. Now, just to clarify, last week I didn't say that Texans wouldn't call broccoli, but in Joe's fake clue, I said they'd probably say something like collard greens, which might also be incorrect. Anyway, he also said Creepy Crawler's oven was inedible at first, then they made an edible version.
What?
Cool.
I just wanted to read that out because I just know you'd be clueless.
Right.
Do you remember Creepy Crawlers?
No.
They're like, you know those little toy ovens that stereotypically little girls would get, and they bake little cakes in it?
No, but go on.
You know, like toys for little
Easy
girls,
Bake.
and like...
Well, they actually worked?
No, it's just a light.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
But you can like mix
Right.
stuff in. This was like the boy equivalent, and you would make like gross little like cakes with like creepy crawlies.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway.
This is from Andrew. He says, I've started to collect Marvel Funko Pops over the last year, which got me thinking. Due to the nature of your job, you must be surrounded by pretty cool things all the time. So I was wondering if it led you into personally collecting anything in the way of memorabilia, collectibles, cool stuff.
You've got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, too much.
It's all that sweet disposable income of an unmarried man with no children. This is just
kids'
bitter.
toys. Get some kids' toys.
I used to collect Mighty Mugs, which were the kind of antecedent of Funko Pops. Like, I think I prefer them, but they just didn't keep them going. Like, Hasbro used to make them.
You got
And they
one
had
over
the
there
Marvel
somewhere.
license, and they had the Transformers and Star Wars and Indiana Jones ones, and they were really good, and they kind of went
I've
by
got
the
a
wayside.
lot of the Star Wars ones.
I just like them. I do have some Funko Pops, but I don't collect them. I have quite a lot of Lego minifigs.
There are so many Funko Pops. Literally any kind of like pop culture franchise.
Like anything now
is there.
Well, the Golden Girls.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What did I see one the other day? And it was just a man. I can't remember what it was from now.
Just-
but no, they've got a Mike Ehrmantraut one from Breaking Bad. And it's just a bold dude. There's
Mike.
nothing to distinguish that it's Mike whatsoever.
But it's nothing I collect religiously, like a series I've got every single one of. I just get a lot of different things based around either Marvel, Star Wars,
same.
and some Batman and Superman stuff, really.
Yeah.
I've got Star Wars Lego, but I don't have it all because I don't
You
have
got
a lot of money.
Ultimate Collector Series, you kind of have a few of them.
I've only got two. B-Wing and Slave 1. I really wanted the Sandcrawler, but I can't justify £250.
I got a Lego Haunted House. I quite like monster things as well. I like all old Universal classic monsters, so Frankenstein, Mummy, Dracula. I've got a lot of that stuff. I've got the Funko Pop of every single classic monster.
Yeah.
At home, and a little haunted house to keep them in.
Cool.
Boba Fett's. I like Boba Fett's.
Yeah, I'm not a massive collectible person. I've got
You're
a
not.
No.
Well, I don't know,
No. Okay, I collect platinum trophies. Let's put it that way.
Oh, it's just the way you were pitching yourself. It sounded like you're not a collectible person.
No, you
But
don't want to collect all of me.
I think you do one on eBay. Why don't we put you on eBay, see how much we can get for you?
Okay. I'm not gonna argue it. I'm just curious about. I want to know how much I go for.
Can we do that and then
What's
follow
the
up next week?
Yeah.
What's the price of postage and packaging though?
Well, it's up to
I'm-
you. You
I'm
can
heavy
ship
goods.
yourself.
No, you have to collect. It has to be
You have to
collected.
collect me. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's put them on this week.
I feel like Rory would fetch a high price though.
Do you?
Yeah, but what kind of person?
You don't really
what
know
would
what
they
you're
do to
buying.
him? But what would
He's
they
like
do
a-
to him?
He's like a dodgy Chinese copy, Rory is. He's a little bit unreliable.
He's unreliable.
Oh.
Says his boss.
So at work today, we had an email first thing saying, does anyone want to be the new fire warden for the office because the previous person's left?
Yeah.
Rory replied,
Within seconds.
Within seconds, he wants to, because I think he heard about the high-vis tabard. I don't want him
I think he probably thinks that he gets to use fire axes and hoses and stuff like that.
He said he's an experienced man with fire, and I don't know what he meant by that.
What does that mean?
Exactly.
Does he know what it entails? Like, he has to, if there's a fire, he has to get us out of the building and take a register.
I know.
He thinks he gets the snazzy uniform, so it's cosplay sorted next year, Fireman Sam.
So firstly, he probably doesn't know where the fire exits are. Secondly, he'll just be like, it's all good. Everyone's
all
out.
Good over here.
Good over here.
Everyone's on fire. Prepare to fry.
Gav's burning.
Beard all singed off.
I've got an email from Anthony Cade who says, here's a little story from when I was a child actor. I was a kid on a TV show called The Demon Headmaster, among others. I think that's the one that Matt Wales used to go on about.
Demon Headmaster?
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with the show. Anyway, one of the episodes, I was an extra as a bad student working for the Demon Headmaster. And in between takes, Terence, who was the Demon Headmaster, was such a nice guy and used to talk to all the actors between takes. Being evil, had the same evil eye makeup on as him, and he left the set once saying, someone cover up that kid, he is creeping me out, as we were talking, and my eyes were freaking him out.
Nice.
Little freaky eyes.
Yeah.
So I wasn't on this episode. I assume we asked for stories about being an extra.
I think it's because Alicia was an extra on Harry Potter.
Right.
Was
okay.
she? I've not heard that story.
Oh, unbelievable.
All right, mate.
Oh, shut up about it. All right, this is another extra story from Rich Jepson. Now, this came in a couple of weeks ago, and I don't think it was read out, but he said back then on the 24th of May, he was getting married on Friday, so could we say hello to my soon-to-be wife, Carol?
Hello, Carol.
Hello, Carol.
Who is now your wife. Congratulations on getting
hope it's
married,
working
Rich and
out.
Carol. Yeah. Hopefully, 2 weeks in.
Awesome.
Oh, that's awkward.
But what? I assume
Rich,
they're still on honeymoon.
Rich, email us in. Let us know how it's going. Not your honeymoon, just your wedding in general. This is a story about him being an extra. So
Okay.
it's a bit of a long story, but I'll get through it. After university, I spent a year working in Vancouver as an extra. This was loads of fun, and I got to work on a bunch of different sets. The two biggest feature films I worked on was The Tooth Fairy and Hot Tub Time Machine. Whilst working on Hot Tub, he's abbreviated it, because part of the production.
Done this story before.
Have you?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Right, well, Rich, you're not getting more out of us.
That's the problem.
Did we say good luck on his wedding?
Can't remember that bit, but I remember the Hot Tub Time Machine
So he
story.
stole his story, but didn't say good luck on his wedding.
They might have done. I wasn't on it.
I wanted to hear the
did.
story.
I can't do it
Send
again.
it later.
All right. You're on the mailing.
that's it,
You're on the mailbag. Oh, this is an anticlimax.
No. Well,
Sorry,
I've got
mate.
one last thing. A shout out to Sam Karkik. I think that's how you pronounce your name. But anyway, Sam runs a bar down in Walsgate Bay, and he gave me free booze. Anyway, it's his birthday next week, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sam.
And I think that really is it. So, well, next week Daniel and I will be in LA. Sorry, Dale.
It's all right. I'll be
so
here,
hopefully
holding down.
you can talk about all the cool stuff that really happened at E3 rather than just the stuff that we're thinking will happen at E3.
Will do.
And yeah, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. We will. Anyway.
Bye.
Bye.